If you are one of the 100 folks subscribed to my channel, you've probably wondered, did this guy fucking die? No, I haven't. Life tends to get in the way, but now that we're all staying inside and I've started streaming on Twitch to my girlfriend and one other person, I figure why the hell not give this another shot. I had an idea for a video like this for a long time, but nothing ever came of it. This channel has been a hodgepodge of me throwing shit to the wall and seeing what works. The Red Dead trailer worked very well, but that took a shitload of effort. There was another Red Dead video I made before that, but not only was it not funny and not original, it also had a very low yield. I'm talking like 30 views max. So video games might be the way to go, particularly the cowboy kind, but today I do not talk about cowboys. Today I ask, what happened to Dead Island 2? Let's back up a bit, all the way to 2011 for the uninitiated. There was a trailer for a zombie game, a really fucking sad one, notoriously sad.
Alright, fuck this, I'm not watching that.
And then the game came out and it was nothing like that.
Cause I don't give a shit about that! Fuck
At a glance, you might think Dead Island is a one-off title with an even deader sequel, but there are actually a few installments in the franchise. There's Dead Island, released in 2011, Dead Island Riptide, a standalone expansion from 2013, Escape Dead Island, a 2014 spin-off title, a now-defunct MOBA called Dead Island Epidemic, released 2014, a mobile game called Dead Island Survivors, released 2018, and finally, the unreleased game in question, Dead Island 2. My personal experience with Dead Island is pretty limited. I'm not a fan of the franchise and I don't follow it closely. I played halfway through the first game before I got bored, and I played about 10 minutes of Riptide when I realized my PC couldn't handle it, and I never really thought about playing any of the spin-offs. Okay, so I'm recording this bit while I'm editing. I went onto Steam to see if Dead Island Riptide was in my library. Turns out it's not. I think I played it during like a free weekend or something like that. As it turns out, there's another Dead Island game that flew completely under my radar. It's called Dead Island Retro Revenge. It 100% repurposes one of the voice actors from the Dead Island 2 trailer. We'll get into that later. I just wanted to throw this bit in here because it wasn't included on the wiki page for the Dead Island franchise and just thought it was worth bringing up. And then PAX 2014 happens. A trailer for Dead Island 2 drops. This is not the same Dead Island. It feels, ironically, more alive. This trailer has more personality than the entire first game. The Bomb by Pidgeot John is playing, this dude is being a huge douche and I love him for it, and Chaos is slowly taking over everything. The weirdest part of the trailer has to be the ending with the unseen survivors. Whoever's doing the voice work here, for whatever reason, they're trying to emulate Jack Black and Aaron Paul. I can tell that it isn't actually either of them, but that is definitely who they're trying to make you think of. Now, I'm no Eric Singer with Wired, but I'm gonna throw the word idiolect around here.
An idiolect is one individual person's way of speaking.
Listen to how this guy says split compared to consonant-ending words from Aaron Paul in Breaking Bad.
Split, split, split.
Yeah, Mr. White.
And people noticed. Nobody followed this up, though. So I did.
Bitch!
As it turns out, the IMDb page for Dead Island 2 lists Mick Winger as Max and Ethan Corver as Felix. I haven't been able to find a demo reel for Corver to confirm his voice type, but Winger is often cast in roles originated by Jack Black, like Poe in Kung Fu Panda or Professor Oberon in Jumanji. Take this with a grain of salt, as one IMDb page is not the end-all be-all confirmation on the current cast, but this seems to imply this is supposed to be a Jack Black type character in personality as well as his voice. A few presentations later that month, we learn a couple things about Dead Island 2. It's going to be developed by Jaeger Development, the same folks responsible for Spec Ops: The Line. The original goal for Dead Island 2 was reinvigorating the crafting system and putting a higher emphasis on multiplayer co-op, expanding the support up to 8 players at a time. There was an interesting article where one dev claimed they also wanted to experiment with player competitivity by minimizing random player contact across the huge world space. Think Fallout 76's Great Wide Open minimal player contact concept before 76 saw the light of day. Promises of limitless content and a bigger, bolder Dead Island experience was advertised, and then Dead Island 2 disappeared from the headlines. In the years that followed, Deep Silver would drop Jaeger development in favor of Sumo Digital in 2015, until they eventually replaced devs again in late 2019 following the THQ Nordic merger. The game is reportedly being developed by Dambuster Studios, whose only published credit is Homefront: The Revolution, and according to the official Twitter account as of January 2019, it's their main focus right now. We got the original reveal trailer in 2014. Development for Dead Island 2 began sometime in 2012, meaning the game has been stuck in development hell for 8 years. It sucks that all fans have in the way of news for this game is just the official Twitter account saying, "Oh, don't worry about it, we'll get it done eventually." What we're probably gonna see is something similar that happened to Prey 2. If you're not familiar, the original Prey was released in 2006, Bethesda nabbed the property in 2009, announced a sequel with a kick-ass trailer in 2012, then canceled it until it was rebooted in 2017. I'm not trying to imply that Dead Island 2 has been canceled. Just look at the trailers for Prey 2 and Prey 2017. There were quite a few vocal fans of this trailer that were upset that they didn't get to play this game. That's what I'm worried about. A different game direction that ultimately makes this trailer, at best, a cool trailer for a game that didn't get made, and at worst, an irrelevant and outdated piece of marketing material. Cinematic trailers are a bit of a controversial topic in the gaming community. A lot of gamers look at them as really cool on their own, but ultimately lead to being disappointed when you can't reenact the events of the trailer in game. I'm looking at you, Assassin's Creed 3. This leads to an anti-cinematic trailer school of thought. Folks would often say, this mess represents the game, you don't actually see what the gameplay is like. To the first point of misrepresenting the game, that actually does happen a lot. There seems to be this phenomenon that happens with certain games where certain promotional materials or whole campaigns even seem to have tonal dissonance. The live-action trailer for Fallout 76 is borderline satire of what Fallout is supposed to be, regardless of your opinion on Fallout 76 as a game. I actually really like this trailer, it's cute. Then take Aliens Colonial Marines, which has the inverse issue. There's only one trailer for the game that accurately captures its tone as an action shooter, while every trailer prior tries to sell it as a survival horror title. We sorta had the same thing happen with the original Dead Island, a trailer that pulls at the heartstrings like a Pixar movie with George Romero subject matter, but a video game that is definitely far more Rob Zombie. Judging by the small bits of pre-alpha footage from the 2014 build of Dead Island 2, it didn't seem like the trailer misrepresented the game. If anything, just from the characters' dialogue, it seemed to match pretty well. Once again, we don't know anything about the story or who these characters are, but it does match up from what we can see. Then there's the second point, not seeing the gameplay. Listen, even if you liked MOBAs like World of Warcraft back in the day, what is more memorable to you? The gameplay trailer of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, or the cinematic trailer for Knights of the Old Republic? Yeah, it's that one. It's the last one, of course. I mean, just look, it's pretty. It's so beautiful. Listen, I'm not breaking any new ground here. This is just how I feel about them. The point of a cinematic trailer is to sell you on the aesthetic of the game, the tone of it. These trailers are so perfectly constructed, they become pieces of digital art in their own respect. Look at any of the cinematic short films for Rainbow Six Siege or Overwatch. Look at the trailers made for Team Fortress 2. That kind of shit was free after 2011. That's kind of stretching the definition of what an advertisement is. Look at the comments for these videos, and you get people asking why no one's thought to make a full movie or TV show out of this material. And I would definitely watch the shit out of a Siege miniseries or an Overwatch movie. As a marketing tool, maybe it is a bit misleading if the trailer is way more exciting than the game that they're trying to sell, but it's effective. They're also really, really cool. I dogged on Assassin's Creed 3 a bit earlier, but that trailer is still one of my favorite game trailers ever, even if the game kinda sucks. Like a lot. So, however Dead Island 2 ends up, it gets released and it's Game of the Year, or it gets released and it's worse than the first game, or it never comes out at all. This is a trailer that I appreciated when it came out, and one that I'm gonna continue to appreciate for a really, really long time.